guidance for the new generation is really, really, really crucial. Otherwise, you'll have a huge bunch of people just doing nothing, just creating content for the sake of fame and not for the sake of purpose.
Every step that I go and every year that passes, I see a lot of people standing beside me and helping me. And consistency is not really a solo project. It's a team project.
There is like inner force inside of me. They tell me keep going and chase your dream and never stop.
If they're truly authentic and they're truly talented, it takes that one push for them to shine and thrive. And it's all about, visibility and reaching out. Welcome, my esteemed gems, guests. It's lovely to have you today with us on this special episode of Gems of Radio at this beautiful Valentino boutique. We're being empowered with individuality, authenticity, and people who are shapers and really changing the whole narrative of Saudi. So it's a pleasure to have you today. Today we have Hamza Sawi, songwriter and singer. We have Reem Al-Habib, actress. I have to say that you are a pioneer. So
Thank
allow
you.
me that opportunity.
Thank you.
And the first Saudi opera singer, Khairan Zahrani. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we talk about how your passion puts you in a position where you went ahead with your passion without looking at what the landscape's doing. And this is what Saudi is about. A lot of us have had to go through different journeys to arrive to where we are today. So starting with Hamza, we know that the Saudi landscape was not an easy one earlier on. And it took a while. But the topic of today is this passion that kept you going. How did it start, and what kept you going when you started?
I remember the first time that I've performed on stage, and that was in 2008. And to me and to a lot of people around me, that was unheard of because it was a talent show. And that talent show had so many other talents, so it was not focused on the music and the singing that I was doing. But the only platform that I had was online presence. The few friends that I had on social media, on Facebook specifically. And I think that is what kept my passion. It's the support that I got from the people that I knew, that most of them I've never met. And
So it's the community.
Exactly. But to be able to actually see this community today, to actually speak to people and tell them that I'm going to be on this stage in Jeddah or Riyadh, and to have the people who supported me all this time actually come and see the shows, and we get all the support from around us, this is a whole different ballgame. So it was not hard to actually continue following that passion because we're seeing the support that we're getting nowadays, and it's a different thing.
One has to have progressive ideals and has to look into the future because you're pretty much manifesting the progress, manifesting the audience. Reem, welcome, Reem. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Thank you for this beautiful invitation.
It's a pleasure.
Meeting great people.
We're so happy to have you with
Thank
us. How did your journey start? Mashallah, especially at that stage as well. It wasn't the norm. It wasn't the norm, and you just kept at it. And mashallah, you're all flourishing. How did it start?
Well, it didn't, it wasn't just not the norm, it was a taboo. So it was you're on the completely end of the spectrum, being an actress at that time, especially that I come from a tribal family. That makes it even multiplied by, 1,000 or so. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, of course.
But it wasn't really easy I come from a family where everyone is a doctor or a lawyer or the businessman or whatever, or just a tribal, I don't know what. And now you just want to act? Are you serious? What do you want to do? Act and direct? It was really crazy at that time. And there wasn't even a role model where you can say, look at her and look at her, it's okay. And her families are accepting. It was just like me and I don't know, a few others. And at that time كانوا في بعض السيدات السعوديات بس مش أصولاً سعوديات كانوا في عايشين في المملكة for a very long time, and they're Saudis but جنسياتهم وكذا مجنسين بس مش سعوديات. It was kind of okay. but not me. And it wasn't easy, but I think when I go back and I think why would I have went through this? كثير ناس تقول لك مثلا it's the passion that drove you. No, I don't think so. I think I was too stubborn.
And you have to be an individual who sticks by your own beliefs. You have progressive values where you look into the future. You must have manifested this and really seen this, because it's I believe in the power of manifestation.
Big time. I'm like a manifest guru thing. I'm into that so much, but I didn't understand it back then. So if you came back then and told me, are you manifesting? What the hell are you talking about? But كنت دايما أشوف إنه I have to go by what I want. And I've done this in everything, like even in schooling and whatever. If I believed in something, I would like, you know what? I'm a risk taker. And I think that's one of the things, probably I'm a huge risk taker. So I was like, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, like it's not going to take you anywhere. تعرف اللي هو الفن ما يأكل عيش and all that.
Yes.
So ما حتاخذي شيء. I'm like, fine, I'll try.
I'll find out myself.
I'll find out myself. You know what? Let me find out. So I think stubbornness really did its job with me.
I think that all of you have changed the narrative on, only lawyers and academics achieve and succeed, whereas people who have raw talent can nurture it and make a career out of it, and even create jobs out of it. So it's amazing what kind of impact you're having on the younger generation. Talk about also impact. Khairan, thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thank you too for having me in here, and this great opportunity for me. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. How did your journey start as the first male opera singer? This is tenacious and admirable. It really shows your courage and your individuality and having the confidence in your talent. How did this all start?
So since I was a child, I dreamed to be a singer. So I looked up to TV and see the singers sing the stage, and I say, wow, I want to be like them. But back then, I don't know, there's something called opera. So I just sing the Arab song with the opera style, without knowing it's opera actually. And the people laughing at me. You sing the Arab song in weird way. So I sing like in Al-Amakin and something like that from Muhammad Abdo. So it's like an opera style. So they look at me, what you doing? So I take it like a funny thing. But once when I saw a commercial on TV, when was the background opera song called Time to Say Goodbye. So I say the similarity between our voices and say, what is this? So I kept digging in the type of this genre of music, and I find it's like my voice. So I kept singing along with the song I heard, and I kept knowing of other artists in the field. So I told myself why I kept this my full job, so a full-time job. So that's how it started.
That's amazing. I mean, do you feel like there is more empathy now towards our community when it comes to, you see another potential opera singer, or you see another potential pupil who sees you as a mentor? Do you feel like now as creatives we have more of a sense of obligation to our creative community versus before, where everyone had it was uncharted territory? Now is it more open now? Like, are there more creatives coming up to you and asking you for questions, and are we able to kind of assist? And if not, how are we able to assist, starting with you?
I feel like lately there has been a lot of platforms that actually facilitated these kind of environments for artists. Let's say for musicians, for example, there is the yearly event that's called XP, which is XP Music Conference. And it happens in Riyadh, and last year was the second time that it happened. It hosts a lot of musicians and a lot of movers and pioneers in the music industry, whether they are from the region or outside of the region. And we have that exchange. We speak about the music, and we kind of created an ecosystem for that. I still feel like we're infants, kind of, as artists and as musicians specifically. Yes, we have that environment right now, but we still need to build the relationships. We still need to have these conversations. We still need to collaborate with each other for all of us to flourish together. But if we're infants, that means we're alive.
Okay.
And that is something that I like, and I see it growing every single day. And this is actually what motivates me to do it till today, and hopefully decades ahead.
Fantastic. It's a great start. Reem, what about the film industry?
I think the problem or the gap within this area is more of there is the entity and there are the artists, but we're missing on the bridging. So a lot of artists do come up to me and they were like, how can we be? Who can we reach? I think I have a talent. Who should I reach? So you just say, I don't know, email so-and-so or email this entity. But there aren't a clear facilitators for these artists to reach right into where they need to reach or show their talent. Yes, MBC have started MBC Academy and MBC Tour now to take, to more like open doors to the artists, but still, I think we're missing the bridging. It's still not there. Entities are waiting for talent. Talents are available, but there is no connection between. So I think we're missing on that area, and I think this should be worked on mostly to actually facilitate these people and have their full potential and use it.
That sounds very familiar to the music side.
Of course it is. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
The entertainment in general in Saudi is actually, the entities are amazing. We have a lot of talents. For example, now لما عملوا Saudi Idol, you hear voices like, oh my God, and some of them have been singing for 15 years. Hams, who won actually the title, she's been singing for 15 years in weddings and parties, and no one knew about her. And when there was Idol, Saudi Idol, they were able and capable to come out. So I think this is the gap that we're missing on.
I mean, it's amazing because if they're truly authentic and they're truly talented, it takes that one push for them to shine and thrive.
Exactly.
And it's all about visibility and reaching out. And
Consistency as well.
Absolutely. You have also a very kind of empathetic approach towards your community, Khairam.
Yeah.
I believe that one of your dreams is also to start a mentorship program. Tell us more about this.
Because every day I received like a lot of messages from my DM and Instagram and Twitter. They say they want to sing opera. There is a difference between a singer and a teacher or something to teach how to sing, or vocal coach, by the way. So I told them it's like until now there is no facilities to help you out. There is like a private facilities to learn how to sing, but it's all for money, not for passion or not for love of music. So that's why I told them not wait for the big chance to have the good chance to learn music or how to sing. So now the Ministry of Culture, they bring up board from Italy and all Europe, a good teachers of music. They have a good experience also, and they open up like music hub here in Riyadh. So now the opportunity is here.
So from the art of the Biennale to opera, it seems like there's a lot of great institutions that are coming.
Yeah, of course.
Is it the same for film? Do you feel like that we have this kind of ripe opportunity to reach to that next level, mentorship programs? There is a community there that's starting, for example, Red Sea Film to Ministry of Culture. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we need to direct the art that we have within the film and the entertainment business in terms of acting more into the Saudis. Red Sea Film Festival is amazing to bridge again and try to bring the talents from out of Saudi and kind of bridge them with the Saudis, but it's not really focused on the Saudis. It's a little bit focused على الأجانب وعلى out of Saudi. We want something to kind of speak to us, to the Saudis more, to our films, to look into our art and not kind of compare us. It's a little bit unfair to have 4 or 5 films. One of them is Saudi, or 3 of them are Saudi, and 3 of them from a director or whatever who've been working on films for the past 50 years. It's really not fair. You're not comparing apples to apples here.
Yeah.
And that would automatically have other films winning, and the Saudis kind of feel, I failed again. So I think it kind of draws you back. And I think we need more entities, more leadership programs, more programs and mentoring that is, as Khairan have mentioned, مو كلها مادية. Not everything is actually commercial and you have to pay an arm and a leg to get into, because these are most of them are kids. They don't have a 5,000 riyal to get into a program or a 10,000 riyal to get to a program, and they want to. So I think some non-profit organizations for such thing should be established.
What about collaborations with Telfaz or NBC? Are those opportunities, that projects that people can look into, or are there special programs that they're doing?
Of course تلفاز أنا تلفاز أوجه لهم تحية لأنه أنا شهادتي المشكلة فيهم مجروحة. I love these guys and they're my friends. فأي شيء حقوله is actually is pro تلفاز. إنه تلفاز have opened. They're amazing. They're amazing. They have opened. تلفاز have done. I always compare تلفاز to Breaking Bad. They broke bad. These guys broke bad. I
mean, if I may just briefly interrupt you, they were ahead of the game even internationally, because we were at a stage where we didn't have cinema, we didn't have theater, we didn't have any outlet. So they cracked the online, and the West followed suit. The West followed suit. So this formula was already ingrained in Saudi before anyone else.
Exactly, but it took courage.
Of course,
this is what Telfaz did. They had the guts. The guys had the guts to say, you know what, the risk takers again. And that goes back to when you risk take. They said, you know what, we're going to do it no matter what. And they did. And going back to your question earlier, Telfaz, NBC, certain others, they're actually working and adapting a lot of little guys and the boys and the girls. And they grew within Telfaz الحين كثير. أنا يعني عندك الجاسر, I forgot his first name.
The director?
The director.
I love that.
I love the guy. ما يحضرني بس a lot of these guys, they just started through Telfaz and they shined through Telfaz because they gave them that opportunity that's missing. فلو في عندنا a lot of Telfaz like or NBC at the moment, I think we'll shine more, and the people with art here will show. We'll have a surface to shine on.
Fantastic. Hamza, in your ideal scenario for things to roll in the way you would want them to roll, what do you envisage? What is your kind of ideal scenario for a thriving music industry in Saudi Arabia?
When I'm listening to Reem talk about Telfaz, I was starting to ask myself if we have the equivalent of Telfaz in the music side of it. Because Telfaz kind of created a pop culture. It created the Saudi pop culture.
Absolutely.
There's a whole generation that walks, dress, talks, and speaks like Telfaz. You know what I mean? And they created that kind of the film.
It's like a movement.
Yeah, that a lot of people will see Saudi youth through.
They broke bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when I look at it, when it comes to the music, there are a lot of institutes now that have to do with music. Every turn you take, you see a building that teaches people how to play the music. But when we go back to the idea of the bridge, where is that bridge that will connect these people that are going to learn how to play this instrument to the business side and how they can actually turn that into a full-time job?
Yeah.
I am sure it was difficult to turn music as a full-time job.
Of course.
It took a long time.
It's
Same with me.
easy.
And it takes business acumen, it takes entrepreneurship savoir-faire, and it's important to have that combined with the creative as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we find I think there's another problem. I don't know if you guys in the music industry face it, but we do have a problem. At first, when you start as a beginner, not like, like a junior in the field, when you start, producers and directors make you feel like you shouldn't ask for anything. I'm giving you fame. I'm bringing you out, and it becomes really difficult to turn it into your own source of income, into your main source of income. And then you will keep on doing your job, yet doing this on the side, and you will flunk in one of them. You're not going to do both. You're going to try to jiggle at the beginning, but then one of them has to overcome the other, and it's definitely not going to be art. So a lot of people have given up art, and I know personally, some actors, actresses, directors, they've given up their passion because it could not feed their families, because it wasn't sustainable. Because again, producers, directors, people in the field have made you feel that you shouldn't ask for anything. I'm giving you fame. I'm putting you on the screen. You should be thankful forever. And that we face that. I don't know if you guys do it. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
of course,
do.
of course.
Definitely.
But I feel like the reason we believe them when they say that is because there is no actual blueprint
Of course.
as to how you
Of course. Definitely.
you know. So
Definitely.
because we cannot look at other people who actually done the same thing that we did, we have no reference.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to go like, no, I'm not going to believe that director or
Of
that
course.
producer because Fulan and Fulan actually made it happen. You know what I mean? But I feel like all these changes that are happening right now are actually aiding us to create that.
So maybe entrepreneurs who have a business development angle that can collaborate with creatives and give them
Exactly.
a plan, a guideline on
It
how
has to be planned. There has to be a strategy.
something. Gotcha. Yeah, interesting. As far as this passion that you have and this individuality and this fire that you've had for so many years, you know, how did you manage to maintain it in spite of, you know, like the number one, the landscape was not there. It was too far-fetched, as you have mentioned earlier on, you know. Where does this fire come from and how did it last for so long, mashallah, you know, Hamza?
Kind of stubbornness.
Yeah, I told you guys to say the truth.
Exactly. It's partially stubbornness and
Yeah.
allowing yourself to go through the trial and error.
Yeah.
I feel like we really fear judgment, especially in the things that we do, because it's very foreign from what is expected of us to go through as individuals growing up in this landscape that actually did not support what we're doing. So having that stubbornness and allowing the word no to actually motivate you and allowing the advice for you to quit what you're doing to do something else that is more traditional, if you allow these words to actually motivate you, that is something that's going to make you remain consistent and remain in the field and do whatever you want to do. Because again, that is gonna remain to be the motivation. Money is not going to be the motivation. The accolades and the fame is not going to be the motivation. The motivation is going to remain, this is something I love to do, and I want to keep doing it, and I don't want anybody to tell me not to do it for whatever reason. So I feel like a big part of that was that kind of energy coming my way.
Reem, how old were you when you first knew you wanted to become an actress?
Oof. I was 7.
Mashallah.
Yeah, I was 7. I actually, funny enough, when I was 7, I did not think I'm going to become an actress. I've always loved performing. So we were in a restaurant and then I came on top. There was a song that I liked and I came on top of the table in a restaurant. I just got on top of the table, was performing and living my life. And my dad was like, okay, she's a kid. All right. You know, he didn't know what was coming. He thought that was it. It will stop there. But he didn't know. And then
Continued for decades.
we continued.
You're natural.
And yeah, I guess. And then they were joking, like when I was 18 and 17, I was acting like, oh my God, I was like the second Madonna. All her earrings and all her skirts. And then my uncle was joking. He's like, yeah, one day you be a performer and I'll be your manager. He just said it as a joke. And then we went on. All this time, I thought I wanted to perform, but I knew it was a dream. There won't be a performance artist in Saudi. But then in college, I've realized that I wanted, I went to the Academy of San Francisco to study directing. So I went into directing cinematography. Specifically, I wanted into cinematography. And then all of a sudden, we had a class for acting. And I was the #1 actress, over 300 actors from all over the world. I ranked #1. And I was like, wait, what? Really? Seriously? I did it for fun. I never even thought I would even be considered top 40 for the first. And then I was like, oh, wait, maybe there's something there, you know? And then things started coming since then. So I think where I knew as actor, entertainment since I was 7, but an actress, I think I knew in high school.
So do you feel like because of the society it not being more accepting and then getting that kind of validation, gave you even more strength and gave you even more confidence to pursue your dream, you know?
Actually, yeah, it was a bit. I think it was a bit more than that. It was more than a thing. One, I am a stubborn person, and if you say go right, I would just say, you know what, nah, I'll go left. I don't know why, but I used to be like that when I was younger. It was very tough
Just
to
to
change
rebel,
my
huh?
just to rebel. I'm just rebellious, and I just feel like rebelling today. And I used to do that for fun, but as you grow, you mature. So you start choosing what to really rebel on and what's not worth it. And then when I started hearing people, oh my God, like with family and jokes, and when we do, like when I do some theoretical act بالجامعة or whatever, I used to hear like, oh my God, you're a natural. Oh my God, you're a natural. And that kind of rang a bell in my head, and I focused on it. And then I got married. I had my 2 boys. And that's when I started really sticking up to what I say, because then I thought, you know what, I will give this as a role model to the boys as well, because I want them to believe in themselves, and don't let no one, no society, no family, no one stops you from what you believe you want to be. And it's funny how things rotated. Like the people who used to hate me being an actress now loves me as an actress.
That's amazing.
So I turn things around, and that makes me so proud when I look in the mirror.
I mean, for me as a designer, I remember when I started knowing what my path is I would see what the market was doing and I would do the opposite.
Ah, yeah, see?
And that also
Welcome
was
to the club.
I'm also
Of
stubborn.
course. Of course.
And I
We're
think
all stubborn.
yeah.
Artists are stubborn, by the way. It's
having your own
it's a
voice.
trait. Yeah.
But I
is
think there's a
key.
difference between stubbornness and rebellion.
Well, I have them both, so.
Yeah, I feel like what you just talked about.
They're cousins.
Yeah, that's rebellion. When you actually take a look at the mark, I believe it's brave. I kind of see it
It
as
is bravery.
Yeah.
It is bravery.
When you're stubborn, you're going to stick to what you know sometimes. But when you're rebellious, you purposely try and go
You
against the
don't
current.
change things if you don't have these characters.
Yeah.
And I think that especially now with my with the new generation, I feel like individuality is kind of ruling over what's safe and blending in, and what people who are appreciated are people like you, who are individuals who have their own way of doing things and who go by the beat of their own drum.
Yeah. You have your own voice.
Absolutely.
You make your own brand.
And this is individuality in the end, really.
Right.
Khairan. So, what about you? When you were young, how did you start thinking about it seriously? You know, because you have a dream, and then to actually pursue and take that first step.
When I decided to make it my career, I think it was like 2014, and when I step on a stage, it's 2019. So it's like 6 years or 5 years of fighting to be a singer in this community.
Fighting.
Yeah, fighting. I think it's
Can you
it's
give
not
us more
easy.
details on fighting?
Yeah,
What do you mean by
of course it
fighting?
is.
Of course. So you can ask what kept me, what kept the fire inside of me 6 years, 5 years without anything, without any, without any further stage or further something to relate in music or something to relate in opera. So
Because what you were doing is even more far-fetched because it's classical, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So how did you have the confidence to pursue that, mashallah?
There is like inner force inside of me. They tell me keep going and chase your dream and never stop, never give up. So it gets stronger day by day, year by year. So that's what kept me going.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I'm a strong believer that there will be a stage where there will be collaborations between classic and between R&B.
Of course.
You know, this has to kind of come into play very soon. And what you're doing is you're creating a whole new narrative on the arts. People need to understand that, you know, there's classical arts, there's pianists like Habir, who's also amazing, opera, like all these elements are like foundations of music that I think that even the younger generation need to know about, you know? What do you think is lacking in the market as far as, you know, youth culture, you know? What do you think of youth culture at the moment? Do you feel like it's progressive enough? Do you feel like it could go a little bit further? Is it ripe, or is it still in the infancy stage?
Infancy.
Infancy stage.
Yes, this is exactly how I see it. I see that we're still growing, but we have the components to grow in a healthy way.
Okay.
That's how I see it. Right now, all these entities that are coming to life, they are aiding and supporting in that infant to actually start to crawl and to walk and to run and hopefully to fly at some point. So there isn't anything that I can think about right now that I feel like is missing. All the components are there, but we're still not utilizing everything the right way that it should be.
And
But hopefully we're learning to actually how to do that.
fantastic. Who were the people that impacted you the most to start your journey into music?
First is my mother, God rest her soul, absolutely, because she is the first person who I went to after my first show ever in 2008, and I showed her the video of the performance. And that was the first time that I got the support after the first performance that I've seen. And that was the first and last performance she's ever seen of me. But every time I make a step and every time that I progress in the thing that I do, I always remember her, and I remember that energy that she gave me after she saw that. And then I met people in the industry, like Qusay.
Mhm.
Qusay, we met me and Qusay in 2009, and he was one of the biggest supporters in my journey for almost more than a decade now.
Open doors to perception in KSA, big time.
Exactly. But especially in what I would call alternative music to Saudi, whatever we're doing, whether it's R&B and soul, the thing that I do, or hip hop, what he used to do, he allowed the idea of collaboration to happen. And when that happened, that gave me a lot of time to go on stage, a lot of time to watch him perform on stage, a lot of time to experiment and go through trial and error myself on stage because of the doors that he helped open for me. So there are so many people. Like, I don't want to forget any names. It's not like the Oscars, but there are so many people. Every step that I go and every year that passes, I see a lot of people standing beside me and helping me in all different directions when it comes to the music. So consistency is not really a solo project, no. It's a team project. And there are a lot of people around me who help me achieve that.
I liked it a lot. Reem,
So I think guidance for the new generation is really, really, really crucial in this. Otherwise, you'll have a huge bunch of people just doing nothing, just creating content for the sake of fame and not for the sake of purpose. And I think here, yes, of course, we need silly people around to make us laugh once in a while over stupid things.
I
That's
noticed
given.
that even your kids, mashallah, have their opinion, they have their way of thinking.
Yes,
have been following social
because,
media.
Yeah,
Mashallah alayhum,
because they are, because see, أنا دائما أقول إنه
You're a mother of two, right?
I'm a mother of two.
Mashallah.
So it is very important at home, whether it's your sister, it's your kid, it's your whoever, especially it gives you, there's a more or a stronger responsibility when you're a famous or a public figure for your kids or for your brothers and sisters or whoever, because that puts a whole lot of load on you to try to tell them what's going on, because it's not just about Instagram numbers and Snapchat numbers and followers. Yeah. It's not about that. It's about what you actually give with value. And the problem is a lot of the industry going into only being famous, and that's even affecting how, I don't know about you guys, but no, I don't think it's hard in the music industry. It's easier with the filming industry. You would see a film, just the actors, actresses are just social media influencers. Like, are you serious? Like, please, really?
It has nothing to do with the talent.
No, I have no problem if you're a social media influencer. That's no problem with me. But you have to have some talent for acting. But you can't just come because you have millions. And it has been proven, films that actually counted on that failed. Even though each and every one of the actors had over 10 million followers, but they failed. So I think
credibility is also very important.
Authenticity is very important. So it's not just about being a social media influencer or being a fashionista or being I don't know what. It's important to have that. That's a path that you need to thrive in. That's perfect. But I'm just worried about the mixing. You know, they're just things get mixed up, and that needs to be directed, I guess.
I think it takes time for.
Of course, yeah. That's why I'm saying we're in the infancy stage now, because things are not really that clear. They're not clear yet.
Of course, and people who have impacted you the most.
Impacted me?
Pursue acting, to pursue. Could be even people who inspired you to be an artist. Like, for example, for me, Kate Blanchett can do no wrong.
Kate Blanchett is
I
really
mean,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. But I love Meryl Streep.
And I love Fatma al-Banawi too.
The similarity
Yeah.
في looks ولا
No, I mean, like, because I think we should also voice, people who I think are rocking it, who are part of it's the gems of Arabia. And I think that I see a lot of promise in her. And I like the fact that she represents cultured, like yourself, educated Saudi, who is not, like you say, not just a pretty face. There's brains, there's craft, there's the will to prove. Yes.
Yeah. في ناس بس ما أذكر really. I cannot really recall someone. Of course, people who actually supported. I have a lot of people who supported me. That's a different. But I don't think I've went into acting thinking of someone or being inspired as per se by someone. I've just loved, classical. Everyone loves Godfather. The Godfather. But it's not like
I've never seen it, by the way.
No, you should.
I've never seen
It's
it.
amazing.
Oh my God, it's
one of the
iconic.
simple things
It's
to
a
say.
classic.
It is an iconic
It's
movie.
a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classical. You should.
I've only seen like the first.
You
few
have a
scenes.
homework for the weekend.
I should actually.
You love it. Khairan, who inspired Pavarotti?
Of course, I look up to this. I look up to this
Of course.
beautiful singers, like Pavarotti, Andrea Bocelli, Mary Callas. So, yeah, this is amazing. Top 3 for me.
I was invited at an event in Monaco. It was Trust by the PIF. So I was very lucky. I had a table, and I'm just sitting having my meal, and then all of a sudden you see Bocelli singing in front of you. I was like pinching myself. I'm like, is this a dream or what?
Where was it?
I mean, it was in Monaco. That was maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
But I can't, right before COVID. And I can't tell you the goosebumps and the level of just how much impact music can have, or great, acting can have. I think this is also what I'm on the search for with Gems of Arabia. It's the goosebumps that we don't feel anymore, So may we always have goosebumps. And
Yes.
may we always
Yeah.
continue. My last question, I promise, we have the signature questions, which is, what is authenticity to you?
Authenticity.
Opa.
That's a good one. Let me think of something intelligent to say.
Should have looked that online.
I should have. I want to tie the authenticity to the art. So I would ask myself, what would make an art authentic? I think when it's inspired by something that is real, that constitutes authenticity. I think authenticity is personal. When I think about the majority of the music that I hear nowadays, I don't see influence. I see like outright robbery. This is how it feels like. Most of the music is really just replicated.
Safe.
Yeah.
Too safe. Yeah.
It's safe because I've seen that this song actually became a hit, or that body of work is what we believe, or what the market believes that everybody wants to hear, so I need to do the same thing. Authenticity doesn't mean I need to follow the market, if we want to be specific, or follow the trail of money. It's creating the art that I feel like I am happy to see, even if I'm the only person who's going to look at it or listen to it.
I feel like you also have an approach that's romantic. Do you also believe in romance in music? I see like really kind of, is this a direction that you would get into?
Romance with the music.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it is actually
You have that voice, that kind of voice.
it is a polarity. Like
Yeah.
music itself, it is a polarity. One time you're going to look at music and you're going to go like, am I really going to stick with this forever? And another time you look at music and you go like, I chose you and you chose me, and this is still death do us apart. So there is some sort of romanticism in it.
Yeah, and I think that it should
With
come
the
back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, music is becoming way too safe and kind of ordinary. There's some amazing talent, I don't want to not recognize that, but I think that definitely there's room for that.
Now, you guys said the word many times, risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking risks. I truly do believe in that. And sometimes I beat myself for it because I go like, I need to take more risks. I need to do the things that I feel like I'm afraid to do. You know what I mean? Decades from now, I want to look back and go like, I've done everything that I want.
What's the expression? A life without risk is a life not worth living.
Not worth
right?
living, yes.
Yeah. Reem, what's authenticity to you? Excuse me.
Authenticity to Reem.
Yes.
It's turning your challenges and pain into art.
As well. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's when it comes from the deep down. That's when you're so real. When you are capable of translating your pain and your challenges that you went through all your life, instead of just having them as trauma and they are suppressed inside of you, you turn them into something beautiful. So it's just like a seed, a seed goes through a lot of hard work, gets dumped into soil, have water on top of it, have heat, but then it gives you flower. So I think it's turning that, and that, I guess, is the ultimate authenticity.
You're all the ultimate embodiment of authenticity and flourishing blooms. You really are gems. And Khairan, last question, and I'll let you all go.
Okay. Yay.
Yay.
Sorry. Just kidding. Okay.
What authenticity to you?
So authenticity for me is like to be real, to be who you are. As in, maybe if I'm talking of artist of art in general, the artist for being real in this field is rare. Like there's a lot of lie in social media, a lot of
Pretense.
Of course. So of being real, of being who you are in this field, I think it's not easy. It's hard, and this is authenticity for me.
Well, I thank you all so much for coming. It's a pleasure
so much
seeing you
for having
today.
us.
And I remind myself of how lucky I am to have this platform where I get to meet and converse and philosophize with gems like yourself. On behalf of Valentino, who have empowered this episode, for me to have the opportunity to be able to have these fantastic conversations. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. And I know I'm going to see you all rocking your craft.
We
Wow,
hope so.
Absolutely.
Grazie, Valentino. Guidance for the new generation is really, really, really crucial. Otherwise, you'll have a huge bunch of people just doing nothing, just creating content for the sake of fame and not for the sake of purpose.
Every step that I go and every year that passes, I see a lot of people standing beside me and helping me. And consistency is not really a solo project. It's a team project.
There is like inner force inside of me. They tell me keep going and chase your dream and never stop.
If they're truly authentic and they're truly talented, it takes that one push for them to shine and thrive. And it's all about visibility and reaching out.